The angle of elevation of the top T of a vertical tower from a point X is 45 degrees. Listen to the question. From a point Y on the straight line X and P, the foot of the tower, the angle of elevation is 60 degrees. If XY equals to 200 meter and PT equals to X meter, calculate the value of X. Look at that question. Okay, let's start by interpolating the question into diagram. Okay, we are given that the angle of elevation of the top T of a vertical tower from a point X is 45 degrees. So let this be the tower. Do you understand? Okay, let this be the tower, and from a point X, let's call this point X. The angle of elevation is what? 45 degrees. So 45 degrees. You can see that it is what you are given in the question that you are going to use to draw out the diagram. So it's simple. All you have to do is just to pay attention. Do you get it? So this is the top T of the tower, and this is point X, and the angle of elevation is what? 45 degrees. So this angle is 45 degrees. From a point Y on the straight line X and P. So there is another point on this straight line X and P. So this will be P. You see, just pay attention to the details of the question. The question starts by saying like this: angle of elevation of the top T. This is the top T of the tower of a vertical tower from a point X is 45 degrees. Now, this point, from this point X, there is another straight line. Are you get what I'm trying to say? They call it point Y. Do you understand? From a point Y on this straight line X and P. So this point will be Y. Are you getting it? Okay. On the same straight line S and P, the foot of the tower. P is the foot of the tower. If you look at that question, the angle of elevation is 60 degrees. So from this point, the angle of elevation here is 60 degrees. Do you understand? If you don't understand, listen to the explanation again. It's simple. Okay. The angle of elevation of the top T of a vertical tower from a point X is 45 degrees. So from this point X, the angle of elevation of this top T of the tower is 45 degrees. Okay. From a point Y on the straight line X and P, the foot of the tower. So P is the foot of the tower. The straight line X and P, there is another point called point Y. The angle of elevation of the top T of the tower is 60 degrees. That is the question, and that is how I got this diagram. Do you understand? Okay. If XY is 200 meter, XY, the distance from this point to this point is 200 meter. Okay. XY is 200 meter, and PT equals to X meter. PT, X meter. Okay. PT is X meter. Calculate the value of X. Okay. Now, please, I want you to pay attention. You see, this kind of question, I've not solved this kind. We have not done any solution on this kind of question before, so I need your attention. I hope you understood how I got the diagram that we have on the board. Okay. Now, listen to me carefully. XY is 200 meter. This XY is 200 meter. Let us represent the distance between this point and this point as okay. Let's represent the total distance here as Z. You understand? So this is what? Z minus 200 meter. You see, it's simple. All you have to do is just pay attention. Do you understand? Look at what I did. If the total distance from this point to this point is Z, that means that since this distance to this point is 200 meter, that means that the distance from this point to this point is what? Z minus 200 meter. Do you understand? Okay. Now, from triangle T, okay, from triangle TPY, we want to do some arithmetic now. From triangle TPY, this is the triangle that I'm talking about. TPY. This is Z minus 200 meter, and this is X meter, Also, this is 60 degrees. From this triangle, don't forget our goals. Our goals is to find the value of X. Do you know? So just follow the solution carefully. What trigonometric ratio combine? We know that this is opposite, why this is adjacent, So what trigonometric ratio combine opposite and adjacent? That is tan, okay? So I'm going to have tan 60 degree equals to what? Opposite. Opposite is x, so I'm going to have x all over adjacent. Adjacent is z minus 200 meter. Z minus 200 meter, okay? Now, the next step is that you have to make x the subject of the formula. Do you understand? And don't forget, please pay attention. Tan 60 is root 3, and you can put it in decimal form, but I prefer it in short form, okay? So tan 60 is root 3, so I'm going to have x, just cross multiply. X will be equals to root 3 multiplied by z minus 200. Do you understand? You can put it in decimal form. Tan 60 will be 1.7321, okay? 1.7321, but I just put it if I prefer, as we progress, I'm going to change it to decimal. You get what I'm trying to say? But you can, I prefer to put it in short form right now. Do you understand? So don't get worried about that. Tan 60 is root 3 or 1.7321. Okay, so let's go. So x equals to root 3 multiplied by z minus 200. Okay, now from another triangle, from triangle TXP. Don't forget, the first triangle that I bring out is what? Triangle TPY. Is that not it? Now, from the bigger triangle, triangle TXP. This is the triangle that I'm talking about now. Triangle TXP. Triangle TX. This is T and this is P. Okay, this is 90 degree. This is 45 degree. And this is X. And this is Z. Do you understand? The total distance from this point to this point is XP. Are you getting it? So this will be Z and this will be X. Now, looking at the diagram that you have on the board, triangle TXP, we know that we are looking for the value of X, which is the opposite. And we know that this distance is what? Z. What trigonometric ratio are we going to combine together? I mean, are we going to use that combines the opposite and the adjacent? It is tan. So I'm going to have tan. Now the angle will be different. Tan 45 degree will be equals to what? Opposite, which is X, all over adjacent, which is Z. Okay. Tan 45 degree is 1. Do you understand? So I'm going to have 1 equals to X over Z. Now the next step is that make X the subject of the formula. You are going to have X equals to 1 times Z, because you are going to cross multiply, X times 1 is X, Z times 1 is what? Z. So I'm going to have X equals to Z. Okay, now we are not done with the question. Okay, we have gotten two expressions for the value of X. The first expression is from the smaller triangle TYP. From the triangle TYP, the expression for X is what? X equals to root 3 multiplied by Z minus 200. Now, from the bigger triangle, triangle TXP, X is equals to Z. Now, we can equate this expression and this expression, because X must be the same for both triangles. Don't forget that X is the height, and the same height that works for triangle TYP must also work for triangle TXP, because TP doesn't change in both triangles. Do you understand? TP is always the height for both triangles, so it doesn't matter. We can equate this X and this X. So let us equate. Let me even call this one. I'm coming. Now let us equate. Let's equate this X. Let's call this one X1 and X2. X1 equals to X2. That is line TP. Line TP. Do you understand? So X1 is what? Root 3 multiplied by Z minus 200 is equals to X2. X2 is what? Z. Okay. So now let us change this to decimal. Root 3. I'm coming. Root 3 is equals to 1.7321. 1.7321 multiplied by Z minus 200 is equals to Z. Now, the goal now is to calculate the value. We want to find the value of Z. Do you understand? Because if you know the value of Z, you can easily substitute the value of Z into any of these to get the value of X. Are you getting it? So that's what I want to do. Okay. So 1.7321 multiplied by Z, that is what? 1.7321z. This is not 2, it is z, okay? Minus, okay, 1.7321 times 200. 346.42 minus 346.42 equals to z, okay? Now, pay attention. Take this collect like times. Take this z to the other side of the equation. You're going to have 1.7321z minus z equals to what? 346.42. Are you getting it? So for this, I'm going to have 0.7321 equals to what? 346.42. Do you get it? Okay. Now, divide both sides by 0.7321. This over 0.7321. This is how I got, listen to me carefully. This is how I got the value of I subtract z from this. So I got 0.7321. Do you understand? So I've not done anything. And to get the value of z, you have to divide both sides by what? Both sides by the coefficient of z. And the coefficient of z is 0.7321. So 346.42 divided by 0.7321. That will give us 473.18 or 473.19. Z equals to 473.19 meter. Okay, that is to 2 decimal places. Now, listen to me carefully. The goal is to find the value of x, not the value of z. But with respect to the diagram, we cannot get the value of x without knowing the value of z. So that's why I got the value of z as this. Now, since x equals to z, we are going to have the value of z, and the value of x will also be 473.19. Let us check the question. If you are not asked to approximate to any decimal place, I'm coming. Okay. Okay, so you can leave your answer like this. And if you want to put it in a whole number, I mean, to nearest meter, just put it 473 meter. Okay. Z, I mean, x, sorry, we are looking for the value of x. X equals to 473 meter. Okay. So that is the solution to that question. So you can see that the first step in solving any question on angle of elevation and depression, or angle of elevation to be specific, is first draw out the diagram. When you draw out the diagram, you can always do whatever you're asked to do. Now, another method of solving this question is this. You see, you might not actually get the value of z first. When I got here, what do? I make x the subject of the formula. But most time you can make z the subject of the formula here, make z the subject of the formula here, then equate the expression that you have. You are going to arrive at the value of x directly. Do you understand? I discovered that the recording. Sorry, I discovered that this part wasn't captured. Are you getting it? So this is what I did. I divide both sides by the coefficient of z, which is 0.7321. Then I got z equals to 473.19 meter. And you know that from this expression, z equals to, x equals to z. So that means that x will also be what? 473 meter. Do you understand? Sorry, it doesn't capture it before, so you can just punch. You can check it using your calculator. You're going to arrive at this answer. Okay. So that is the solution to that question. Let us proceed to the next question. Okay. A man standing in front of a house built on top of a rock 70 meters away from the rock observes that the angles of elevation of the top and the foot of the house are 63 degrees and 60 degrees respectively. Find the height of the house. Okay, that is the question. Okay, let's start by drawing out the diagram. A man standing in front of a house. Okay, so let's say this is where the man is standing. Do you understand? Okay, in front of a house built upon a rock of 70 meters. Oh God. Please, the question is twisted, so just let's start by drawing out the diagram that we.
To watch the complete class, kindly click on the link in the description of this video or the comment section. Okay, See you in the next class.